studio here at Oak Mountain Media. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me today is one of the most outstanding and approachable people you'll meet. She has been in Oak Mountain for only a year and a half, and she is still making a great impact. How excited I am to hang out with America McLeod. Dude, what's up?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing so good. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's really good to be here. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to have me on here.
Absolutely. Just hanging out, just like I said.
Pretty much.
So how's your day been? Anything fun happening?
My day's been really good. I plan to be really busy this afternoon. I always love coming to school and just being ready to take on the day.
That's good. It's really cool. So just to kind of jump into it, I understand you spent quite a few years in California. Can you talk about that?
Yes, sir. I was born and raised in California. I've moved around there a little bit. I lived in Manteca, Patterson, Mountain House, Pleasanton, Livermore, Dublin, a few places, but the main place that I stayed was in Patterson, and it was very agricultural, hills, corn everywhere. And so what we used to do to pass the time was we used to run to the snack shack that was up on top of a hill a couple miles away from my house, around 2. So that was really what we did to kill time.
you gotta work for that snack. Huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If I told my mom I wanted to get Starbucks, she'd give me, $10 and say, "Here, go run and get your tennis shoes."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So coming down here, I imagine that's quite polarizing.
Oh yeah, Alabama is very different from California. I remember when I first came out here, getting off the airplane after going back and visiting, there was this guy and he kept talking to me. He was like super old. He was like in his 40s, and I was very like stunned and shocked by the fact that he's talking to me because I was like 15, like why are you, I don't understand, like I don't know you. But then I realized that that's just the culture. He didn't mean it ugly, he didn't mean it anything like that. It's just California is not as friendly and in your face as Alabama is. But it's
in
something
your
to
face,
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So literally the moment you stepped off the plane, you were kind of hit with that southern kind of cultures like you were talking about.
Yeah, but my mom always did tell me, you need to be careful about who you talk to, who you're around, be aware of your surroundings, just because you never know what's the worst that can happen. And so, like, when that first happened, I was very shocked, but then realizing, like, everyone in Alabama is very welcoming and very open with each other, which I really have come to love and appreciate because I'm extremely outgoing. At least that's what people tell me.
Yeah, you are. It's true. So Oak Mountain, kind of where you're at now, how has it been trying to kind of get into the high school swing of things around here?
Well, I had first gotten registered about a day before my junior year started.
Really?
And I remember breaking down in the counselor's office like, oh my gosh, I actually do live in Alabama. I actually do this. If you go talk to Mr. Devers, like, he will tell you I had mascara on my registration forms because I was, like, it had finally hit me. But I realized that this is probably one of the best things that's ever happened to me because I've met so many amazing people, so many, like, teachers have had such an impact on my life. I've been able to get into so many programs like Shelby County Explorers and Wild DP.
Right. Shelby County Explorers and Wild DP. That kind of what you were saying. It's kind of sounds like a culture shock.
It was a little bit of a culture shock. I mean, I definitely have come to love Alabama, if I'm being honest, a lot more than I've loved California. But the atmosphere at Oak Mountain is just unparalleled to any other school that I've gone to.
Right. And I think I can agree with that. I haven't really been to any other schools, but can you talk a little bit about Wild DP?
Wild DP is the Youth Leadership Development Program, and it basically just encourages and fosters leadership in promising students. They take a select few students every year, and you get to attend conferences once a month with leaders who will come and speak to you for a few hours. We're divided into companies, and you can apply to be a spokesperson. I'm a part of the 5th company, Rose Company, and it's so much fun. Like, I definitely do enjoy going to the meetings and being able to network and connect with people that I never met before. We all have one goal in mind, but it's such a diverse group of people that you are able to learn and gain something new from every person you meet there.
The Rose Company. It sounds like y'all mean business.
Oh, yes, definitely. We actually just did a Walk for Warriors, and we raised definitely over at least $400 just our company alone.
Wow.
So thinking about how much the entire Wild DP raised together is just outstanding.
Right. That's truly amazing.
Thank you.
And also, what is this Shelby County Explorers?
Shelby Explorers is basically just a program. We meet once a week at the New Hope Presbyterian Church, and they actually do have meetings here at school. I believe the first Thursday in every month at Miss Cardinal's room we meet, and we're able to just gain insight on law enforcement. There we learn about how to handle scenarios such as domestic calls, clearing of buildings, and then we also go over basics of handcuffing. You know, what are Miranda rights? When are you allowed to read them, or when are you supposed to? The difference between a pat down and a search, all that kind of stuff, and it's very informational and it's so much fun. I love the people there. I genuinely enjoy going to those meetings, and I think that that's one thing that, if any, you can take from anything is that I only do what I love. And even the
Right.
stuff that I don't love to do, I find something that I love about that one thing to keep me going and to motivate me.
Yeah. It sounds like you've made some good contacts to note. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely do love all the people that I interact with every day.
So I know if I get into anything, I'm calling you. So,
Yeah.
you know.
I'd be like, hey, I'll have my people talk to your people. We'll get it handled.
Right. That's awesome. So as involved as you are, you take care of your family a lot. Is it Bruno and Damon?
Bruno is my older brother. He lives in Arizona at the moment. He's older. He's like around 23, and he has 2 kids, or 1 kid and 1 on the way, and he has his wife Alyssa. I don't really take care of him as much as I take care of my little brother.
Yeah.
But no, we definitely do have a really good relationship. And my little brother Damon, he does baseball. So he's always moving, always jumping around, super goofy. Like, he never stops talking. He's just like me.
Right. You keep things running.
I definitely try to. When my mom is essentially a single mom, because my father lives in California, so she's handling everything at home, so I try my best to do as much as possible. Whether it's little things like cleaning the house before she comes home, which I try to do at least every other day, taking out the chicken for dinner, that kind of thing.
Right. And you, with all these things, I mean, you truly are strong-willed, America. I really believe that. I mean, you have quite a bit of things going on, and you're really, I mean, you're just so dedicated and so driven in everything that you do.
Well, I think that the main point of life is to just do as much as you can, and while you're doing that, impact as many people as you can. So I hope that my older brother can see my little sister's taking care of things, so I don't have to worry about my mom as much. I hope my little brother can look to me and say, I want to help mom out as much as my older sister does. I want to be the kind of person, because like, my mom's never worried about my grades ever in my life, and that's something that I hope to pass on to my little brother. He definitely is on top of school just as much as I am, and I hope that I can lead by example like my mom always told me for him as well.
You're surely doing that, for sure.
I definitely try.
With all that being said, what is your vision for the next couple of years after graduation? Where are you headed?
Well, definitely I'm going to go to Jeff State and get my general ed there, and I'm going to take care of my mom at home while I'm doing that as much as possible. Definitely commit to my studies, and then I would love to get into a career of editing. Broadcast is definitely my favorite class of this year, because it has lit a fire in me that I did not even know was there. It has the perfect mix for me of, hard work and getting into the nitty-gritty elbow grease, but it also gives me the perfect creative outlet, because that is something that I definitely could not live without. Ever since I was little, I'd been like switching from one hobby to another. We have a whole arts and crafts closet at my house, because we are just like extremely creative, and we have a little creativity boxes.
Yeah.
Out of an UGG box, we made it ourselves, my little brother and I, at like 3 in the morning. We took all the toilet paper rolls in the house because we saw it on YouTube, and we took out all the cardboard rolls, and we glued them inside the box after like decorating them and stuff like that to hold all our markers. And so my mom woke up the next morning, and she was so upset that there had been like all the cardboard out of the toilet paper was taken, so you had to use as much of it as possible. So we didn't even use toilet paper rolls for like a couple months because of how many toilet paper rolls we went through.
Yeah. Well, it's all for the box, so it's all good.
Definitely. It's
Yeah,
a
it's all good.
creativity box, What my little brother wants, my little brother gets. So.
Nice. Well, I've truly enjoyed working alongside you in Mountain Media for sure.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. You were a joy to be around as well.
Well, thank you. What does it mean to you? I know we were speaking earlier, and one of these quotes that you had said, I know you love quotes, and one of these that really spoke to you, it's really profound. What does it mean to you to be one of the few, not one of the many?
Well, one of the few, not one of the many, is something that my mom had always told me when I was growing up. Since I was itty-bitty, 2 feet tall, she'd always said, be one of the few, not one of the many. Go against the grain and be willing to do things that make you stand out. And she was always told me that, being one of the few did not mean going along with it, what everyone else says. That same thing that school's always told us, don't fall into peer pressure. don't do something just because what other people want to. And if it sounds bad, but do things out of spite. If someone says, I don't think you're capable of this, go out and prove them wrong. That's something that my mom always told me. She was, take people not being worried about you as an advantage. If somebody looks at you and they're like, I don't think you're capable of much, that's to your advantage, because it's going to hit them in their face when you prove them wrong. And that's something that I've always loved, because a lot of people predicted that when I moved to Alabama, my grades would go straight down, my mental health would go in the toilet, I wouldn't be able to keep up. A lot of people back home thought that I was just going to move back to California and just live with other family, and I definitely feel like I proved them wrong. I feel like I've made a name for myself among my friends and among everyone I've met, and I've definitely proved with my determination to make something of myself, that I've proved that I'm one of the few and not one of the many who definitely would have become a victim of the situation.
Wow, that America, that
I'm
is
so
powerful.
sorry, I was
No.
going so long.
Dude, that is so powerful. To have that mindset, you're going places, man. Just like I said.
Thank
that
you.
is-
I really appreciate that. I definitely owe it to my mother. She made me this way. So I'm just saying, and she also always told me that, like we were saying earlier, like you're never too good to wipe down the toilets. You're never too good to sweep or vacuum.
Right.
But you need to know what you're capable of, and you need to know that you are capable of amazing things. And, I've always been proud to be able to say, like, yes, I sweep the floor, but yes, I also created this video on my own. It goes both ways, and you're able to learn something from every person you meet. Mr. Milton always talks about being a leader amongst your peers and leading by example, and that is something that I definitely have always carried with me, and he's just definitely enforced, because no matter who you meet, you can learn something from that person. Whether I meet you and you're an example of what I don't want to be, I can learn that I don't want to be like that, and I can learn to do things in order to prevent myself from being like that. And if I meet someone who is doing way more than I am, way more successful, way smarter, then that just means that that's a learning opportunity. I've always gotten told by my mom as well that if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room, because you always need to be learning and bettering yourself.
Right.
So I know I talk about my mother a lot, but she's just bucket of wisdom. So
Well, no, and we can all continually learn that from you. That's
Thank
very
you.
strong. Strong. With everything that you've accomplished, to kind of wrap up, what do you leave behind? What's your legacy?
Well, my legacy, if I can hope to leave anything, is that I'm a very unapologetic, honest person. Any person you meet, they will say, I either love her or I hate her, because I do not tell people what they want to hear. If you ask anybody in my department at broadcast, like, I definitely do not try to tiptoe or sugarcoat things, because I definitely feel like if there's one thing you can depend on me for, it's to give you the honest truth, and not a lot of people are like that these days. Many
Right.
people will definitely sugarcoat things. If I ask you, does my hair look bad, you need to tell me if my hair looks bad, because I'm about to be interviewed, and I do not want to look silly, and, little things like that. And I've definitely always been the friend to always say, if you really want to change, then you need to work for it. If you want to, look better, you need to get to the gym, you need to eat healthy. If you want to do better grades, you need to get down on that table and you need to study, hit the books. So that's something
Right.
that I hope to leave behind.
And we need that honesty very much. So,
I think society needs that honesty, and I hope that when I get older and I have kids, that I can lead them to be the same kind of people. Leave my legacy throughout my descendants, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
for sure. America, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you
were
so
truly
much for
amazing.
having me. I love being here.
For sure. And that was America McLeod. Be sure to keep up with her on her Instagram and some of her other social medias. You can find her. And also keep up with us on our Twitter and Instagram at OakMTN Media. And for Oak Mountain Media, I'm Ryan Hall.